Goodness gracious. All right, so good morning, everyone. Have a block where you can reach it, and have a either a blanket or, sorry, I got a couple of people coming in. I have a blanket or a towel rolled up. Just made it. They just made it. I'm gonna have to cut all this recording part out. It's like bloopers. No. All right. Good morning, everyone. All right. So if you have a yoga blanket or some kind of a small blanket, go ahead and grab that and just roll it and set that aside. We're going to come back to that. And then have a block near you. And then it may be a strap. We won't use it necessarily, but it's nice to have near. And then come on down to your backs. And keep your knees bent, keep your feet on the floor, take the feet wide. And then if it feels okay, just drop your knees to the center. Your hands are on your belly. And they're on the lower belly, so kind of between the hip bones. And just let the fingers maybe touch in the middle. The shoulders are soft. You feel the inner line of your feet on the floor, maybe the pinky side's a little lighter, a little bit lifted. And then close your eyes. And start to tap into your breath. Start to notice how you're feeling, where your energy is, where your mind is. And just take some simple breaths in and out. And as you inhale, feel your belly rise up toward the ceiling. Maybe you feel your fingertips kind of move away from each other with your inhale. And on the exhale, you feel the ribs soften down toward the floor, the belly soften down to the floor. And then that little bit deeper exhale as you release all of that extra oxygen, carbon dioxide. So we breathe in, big belly breath. We exhale, deep exhale all the way out. And as you do so, just notice how the fingers move toward each other with the exhale and move away from each other with the inhale. So the hands resting along the transverse abdominis, the deep core muscle of the body. This muscle is so important for the stabilization of your core, of your lumbar spine, the way we move. Don't forget your exhale. Don't forget to really draw the belly in toward the floor as you let go of that breath. Couple more here. And then keep the feet where they are.
Separate the knees so that your feet and knees are wider, at least twice as wide as your hips width apart. Release your right hand anywhere, release your right arm. Keep your left hand at the low belly and lower the knees toward the right side. So the hand, the left hand, is tracing a part of the psoas muscle. And I just want you to feel the tenseness or the softness of that space. And from here, take a deep breath in, keep the pose. Exhale out really deeply. And feel maybe a more engagement or more pressure on the psoas muscle. Good, one more right here. And exhale. Keep exhaling. There you go. Good. Take the knees back to center. Keep the feet where they are. Put your right hand on the low belly. Release your left arm just so it's mostly out of the way. As you inhale, exhale, let the knees fall to the left. So if any of you have taken classes with me, a lot of classes over the years, I am often fascinated with the psoas muscle. So as we breathe and as we feel under our hand, right, you really can't feel the psoas muscle, but you're tracing the line of that psoas muscle. Big exhale. Feel the press on the psoas muscle, maybe a tightening in the deep belly. Good. Bring your knees back to center. Bring your left hand back where it was. Low belly inside the hip bone. Move your right hand out of the way. Lower your knees to the right. Pause again here. And I want you to think about this. So if you could close your eyes, I want you to trace the psoas muscle for me. It starts at the inner upper thigh on your left side. There's a little bump of bone there that it attaches to. It comes up where your hand is. It keeps on going and it attaches to the bottom rib, the 12th vertebra, thoracic vertebra at your back body. So I want you to think about that, and then I want you to take your thumb of your hand and spread it as far up your belly as it'll go, and spread your pinky toe, or pinky finger, spread your pinky toes too, as low down as you can, and realize that with that depth or that length of hand from thumb to pinky, you're not close to reaching the length of your psoas muscle. So keep your fingers there if you can, keep them spread out. Take a really deep breath here. And exhale it deeply. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Good, relax that hand, relax the shoulder. Take the knees back to center. Switch hands, switch the direction of your knees. The knees go to the left, your right hand touching your belly, your fingers spread, your pinky finger one way, your thumb the other way. Everything else is pretty soft. Take a deep breath in. And exhale it out. Good. Release both sides, release both hands, your knees back to center, and just kind of notice again. Take both knees up a little bit and feel the inner thighs way up toward the groin, and realize that that is where that psoas starts. So maybe you can fuss with your fingers and put one finger about where you think it is. Doesn't have to be perfect. Bring the knees toward chest until you reach your lower ribs. So you're kind of crunched in here. And then realize that that is the shortened version. And if you could spread those fingers out until the legs straighten, you would come all the way to the length of the psoas muscle. It's kind of cool. All right, so there you go. There's your lesson on the psoas muscle. We're going to come back into it. Grab one of your blocks, lift your hips, and take it underneath your sacrum. So stay on the low level. I know one of you in particular has pulled that same psoas muscle before. So hopefully you know I'm talking to you. Be gentle. So the block is under your sacrum. It's not on your lower back, all of those things. Bring your right knee to chest and just squeeze it in and leave your left leg where it is. So as you squeeze that in, maybe you feel a little bit of a tug on that inner line of the left leg. Just, if you don't worry about it. And then release. Go to the other side. Bring your left knee in, stretch. Keep the right foot planted. See if you can feel a little stretch on that line. And release. Bring your right knee back to your chest. You can hold it or not. You don't have to hold it if you don't want. And just start to walk your left foot down toward the front of your mat. When you feel a tug or a stretch, if you do at all, pause. Plant your sacrum on the block. So you're not tilted off the block. You're really planting that whole sacrum down so you feel solid. Maybe you start to feel a stretch. Maybe you start to straighten the left leg along the floor. So this is the one that is tight for me this morning, tighter than normal. So I'm going to go real easy with this and keep my left knee bent. If your leg goes really straight here, then let it go straight and just allow gravity to stretch from your inner upper thigh through the front of your pelvis, all the way up to your last thoracic vertebra, right? If you think about how deep that is. Now, take a really deep breath here. Exhale it all the way out. Keep going, keep going, keep going. One more right here. Exhale it all the way out. And then slide the left heel. Bring that knee back toward chest. Let your right foot come to the floor, knee bent. Hold the left knee, just hang on to it for a moment, and then slowly slide your right leg any amount of straight. The other fascinating thing about the psoas is that it interconnects with fibers of the diaphragm. So as I have you taking this really deep breath, and then exhaling, right, the psoas presses on the diaphragm and vice versa, and so we get this synergistic movement of breath and deep inner core, which is also super cool. Breathe, everybody. Big exhale. And then slide your right foot all the way up, knees to chest. Bring both knees deep into chest. Watch your lower backs here. This should feel good. Nice little stretch. And then press your sacrum on the floor. Let your right foot come to the floor and take your left leg and make it 90 degrees. Bring it in toward your belly. Take your left hand back to that left side belly. Take it into toward your chest. And then just press it away and feel your belly engage. Okay? And then bring it in. Press it away. Feel some engagement with core. Good. Bring it in. This time I want you to tone the lower belly. Really squeeze down and press the leg away. And keep doing this and just see at any point that the leg will go straight and then bring it back in. Make sure the low belly is engaged. Press into your right foot. Good. Couple more right here. Just stretch it out and bring it in. And then let your left foot come to the floor. Your right knee comes to chest. Your right hand goes to your right side belly. This is just a feedback, right? Feedback, feeling belly soft, and then starting to move the knee away, belly gets harder, bring it in, press it away, just feel it, right? So in yoga, we wanna feel what our bodies are doing. We wanna understand what our habit patterns are, what our mind tells us about movement or about our bodies, right? So just a couple more, stretching it out fully and bringing it in. Good, and last one, stretch and bring it in. And let your right foot come to the floor, your feet are hips width apart, elbows and upper arms press into the floor, fingers are pointing toward the ceiling, press into both feet, see if you can lift your hips off your block. Watch for any pressure on the neck or head, there should be space behind your neck. Squeeze the glutes and let the hips come back down. Good, let's do 5 more of those. So lift up, exhale, release. Lengthen your tailbone, lift off your block. Exhale down, that's 2. Let's do 3 more. Up and down. This is 4 and down. Last one here, lift up and come on down. Good, bend both knees toward chest to stretch it out. And bring both feet back to the floor. Take the feet and angle them out a little bit, kind of like a 45-degree angle, if that makes sense when you can't see your feet, but just so they're angled out a little bit, the knees are angled out a little bit, elbows, forearms press into the floor, fingertips to the ceiling, press into your feet and lift up. So a little bit different angle here as we work on bridge pose. I want you to squeeze up, this time activate the glutes a little bit more. And down, 3 more right here, lift and exhale. Lift, exhale. Last one, lift up, squeeze the hips and come on down. Good, walk those feet back to hips width. Maybe take the knees toward your chest to stretch out the lower back. And feet to the floor. Walk your feet about a foot length forward. Try to get them even. So I just put my toes and feet together and then I'm going to walk them out so that they feel pretty even. So you're in a longer bridge here. Press into your feet, press into your upper body, lift your hips, hold, and notice. Now, drag your heels isometrically back. Feel the work on your core. Maybe lift your toes off the floor and press into the heels of your feet. Draw the inner line of your legs toward each other isometrically so the knees don't splay out. And find this variation of bridge pose and lower back down to your block. Lower your feet. Good. Let's do 1 more of those. If you want, go a little bit further out. As we change the lever, right, as we change it, different muscles start to really get involved. So I want you to press into your feet, tone your belly, lift your hips, lift your toes, press into the forearms, watch any pressure in the neck or head. Breathe, maybe the arms come up to the ceiling. Good, strengthen the inner line of your legs, everybody. Feel those legs working, drag the heels back and lower down. Good, and then just press up enough to move that block out of the way. Lower your hips back to the floor, bring your knees to your chest. Find your breath here. Feet to the floor, take your feet wide on your mat. Your pinky toes are at the edges of your mat. Arms come out to cactus pose. And then lower your knees to the right. Good, breathe. Now, I've said this before in this pose. If there's something that hurts here, like a knee in particular, just don't go as wide with your feet. Just take the feet in a little bit. Good, take the right arm out to the right, so it's right out from your shoulder. Take the left arm and circle it toward your right arm. and then release it as you open up this whole chain. I'm looking for a stretch from my left knee to my left fingertips. So circle it forward, you're kind of rolling over your right shoulder, and it's not a full circle, it's just kind of a half circle. And then open it up wide. Good, one more right here, circle toward your right arm, and then uncircle, open into a twist, and breathe. And then imagine, right, left fingertips right overhead, psoas stretching, toe the deeper belly, press the left knee away from you, not down to the floor, but away from you, and feel this big, 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 for some, stretch. Good, release both arms, knees back to center, we're going the other way. And then we're gonna get up off the floor. Good, so both knees are to the left. We're finding that pose again, the arms are cactus, but then take the left arm out wide from the shoulder. The right arm circles as you come forward, rolling over your left shoulder, and then you're gonna open right back up. Good, and curl over. And release. One more, circle. And release it, open it up. Maybe the right arm goes straight overhead, the right knee moves away from the hip bone. You stretch out that side of the body. Big deep breath. And then release the arm. Take those knees back to center, both knees to chest. Roll over to one side and come on up. Whew. Good, grab one of your blocks if you can. Now, not everybody's knees are gonna allow this, but if you can, I want you to take your block and sit up on it, probably second level, okay? And I'm gonna turn to the side so you can see that. If you're not able to sit on a block, your knees aren't gonna allow that, then sit in your normal regular pose, either cross-legged or legs right in front of you, okay? So check this out, right? Just check out how that's feeling for you. If it is uncomfortable, you can take your blanket and put it up on top of that to bring you up higher still. But just kind of notice this interesting variation, again, of hero pose. Press down through the tops of your feet. Bring your inner ankles to your block. Roll your shoulders back. Inhale, reach the arms up. As you exhale, right fingertips to the floor. Stretch your left arm up and over. But as you do so, right, press down through the left foot, left shin, left hip, and breathe. And then circle your arm, your left arm over to the right. Keep circling down, maybe the fingertips touch. And then open it back up and breathe. Good, two more. Circle the arms, stretching out here. Fingertips touch, open it up. Good, last one, just stretch, stretch, stretch. And open that arm up. Keep it up for a moment. Reach the fingertips really long and then press out through the left side. Just really reach that left side. And come on up. Bring the right arm up. Take the left hand to the floor. Start to stretch over. Right, just simple side bend here, but then press down through the right hip. Press down through the right foot. Feel that. Make sure the left shoulder isn't rolling forward. And then same thing, kind of lean across, see if you can touch your fingers to the floor and come back up and open the chest. Good. And press down and lift up. Good. Last one, reach and press down and reach up and then hold. Stretch the arm over to the left, press the ribs out to the right, press down through the right hip, right? Feel that block underneath you. And reach up, take the arms up and exhale down. Roll your shoulders, everybody. Good, and then on your block, I want you to just lean back. I'm gonna turn to the side here just so you can see if you need to. So you're just gonna lean back a little bit. You're sitting on this block, so you should feel pretty sturdy, pretty steady here. From here, maybe you lift, isometrically lift those hips away from the block. You should feel the stretch in your quadriceps. Now, some of you can do one leg instead of two, right? That's a little less intense. If this is never happening, right, in this lifetime, I just want you to maybe lay on your side and see if you can draw the top thigh back to get that same stretch. So we're breathing here, we're just stretching. How you have your hands is okay with me, unless your shoulders are rolling forward or crunching up to your ears. So breathe, everybody, and just feel, as you try to move your behind off the block, how much stretch you get in your quadriceps, the front thighs. So if your quads are tight, what's your psoas doing, right? Chances are your psoas is tight. We spend so much time stretching our hamstrings. What about our lovely little quadriceps? Whoo, breathe, everybody, and come on up. Oh, good. Take that block out from under you. Take your blanket, we're almost done with the floor stuff, so hang in there with me. I want you to take your blanket roll or your towel, many of you probably won't be able to do this one, and bring it behind your knees. So lean forward enough that you can tuck it as far underneath your knees as possible, and then have a seat. Right? Holy moly, this is intense. If it's not intense for you, I want your autograph. So if you want to make it less intense, lean forward and take some of the weight off your calf muscles. So calf muscles get so tight. What are we doing? We're doing a super deep massage for the calf muscles as we use the blanket for that, you know, those thumbs that massage therapists use. So breathe with me, hang in there if you can. Find your breath. And then lean forward, pause, breathe. And then one more if you can. So when we talk about the calf muscles, right, if the back of those legs are tight, what is that doing to create imbalance in our legs, in our hips, right? These little known places. Woo! Everybody breathe. I know this is intense, it's intense every time I do it, but if you're an active person, your calf muscles really get tight. All right, release there. Woo! Good. Set your blanket aside. Have your blocks toward the front of your mat. Find table pose. And from table pose, flip your toes under, squeeze your belly in, and come to downward facing dog. From down dog, I want you to pedal your feet. Nice and simple. Check your hands, right? Check your arms, your shoulders. Breathe. Take your feet wide on your mat. Take them as wide as your mat. Bend your knees. And just work with your upper body. Press into the thumbs, the index fingers, externally rotate the upper shoulders, right? The upper arms. Squeeze the belly in. Squeeze the legs isometrically toward each other. As if you could slide your feet together and breathe. And then come all the way forward, lower your knees to the floor. Whew. And bring those knees back to hips width apart. From here, press your right leg straight back. You're on the ball mound of your right foot. While I get my hair out of my face. Breathe, everybody. And feel this stretch. So I want you to just press back through the heel and then back up toward your toes. Nice and easy again. Reaching forward, right? Those of you I know who play tennis, you know who you are.
right? As you're stretching through the Achilles, the calf muscles, there's just so much going on. There's really, I told my brother the other day, it's never one thing. It's always, you know, the bodies are interconnected. The diaphragm is connected to the psoas, it's connected to your inner thigh, right? There's just tons going on. All right, so come to neutral. Kickstand out your left foot. Bring your left hand into alignment, but forward of your shoulders. And then pivot on your right foot so that you can turn to the side. And breathe. Tone through the belly. Externally rotate that left arm, left shoulder. Lift your right leg as an option. Tone the belly and lengthen your tailbone. Hand just stays on your hip. Your head is neutral. And then imagine pressing your top leg back, right, straight back. I happen to have a wall here, but don't go any further than the front of your thigh is going to be willing to let you go, right? So if we keep going, if we kept bringing that leg back, we're in a back bend. I don't want you to go there. I want you to lengthen from your top thigh to the top of your ribs, up to the top of your shoulder. That's it, right? Breathe, and then bring it back to a neutral. Maybe bring your knee toward your chest. Squeeze it in. One more here, slow. First straight out. Then reach the legs straight back, but no back bend. Squeeze the low belly. Yep. Release that, knee to chest. Little bit of core. And straight out. Lower the foot. Pivot yourself, turn, shake out that wrist. I know a couple of you have a little chatty wrist there. Shake out your hips. Flip your toes under, come to down dog, take those feet wide again, bend your knees, lengthen through your torso, and then tone the low belly in. Press through those arms. Isometrically, try to bring the hands toward each other as your shoulders stay wide. That's it. Inhale, tippy toes. Exhale, lower down. Bring those knees a little bit closer together, hips width apart. Same thing on this side. You're kickstanding, your right foot out, your right hand lines up with your right shoulder, butt forward, and then pivot to the big toe side of your left foot, and then see if you can plant that toe. Good, I'm gonna turn around just so I can see what I'm doing, right? And breathe. And then lift the leg, again, that's an option, but then tone the belly in, lengthen your chest. Imagine this line from foot to shoulder. Left hand can just stay right on the hip. And then slide the left leg behind you as if you were sliding it along a table, and only go as far as you feel a stretch. That's it, breathe. And then slowly bring that knee toward your chest and straighten it. Slide it back, try to lengthen through that whole front line of your body. Yeah? Got it, got it, got it. And bring it back to your knee. Ooh, slow. Knee to chest. Straighten it out. Lower that foot to the floor. Lower your hand to the floor. Shake out your lovely wrists. Flip your toes under, downward facing dog. Pedal your feet. Stretch it out. And then walk your hands back to your feet. All the way back. Roll your shoulders back. Good forward fold, everyone. Bend your knees and come all the way up. Good, shake it out. Grab your blanket roll. Roll it up, take it to the crease of your hips. Keep it there and come into a forward fold. Just breathe. Right, so again, creating space. When our psoas muscles are tight, when our hips are tight, when we get, sometimes people will get that compression in the front of the hip. What can we do? We can just create space.
So we lengthen the torso over that blanket. The backs of your knees are soft, and we're just kind of checking it out. How does that feel? Maybe lean back into your hips or into your heels a little bit, as long as you feel stable. And notice that. Maybe lean forward into your toe mounds and feel that. But then come back to the center of your feet. Take your feet slightly wider than hips width, just a little bit. And bend your knees. And feel the blanket or the towel in place. Take one elbow and then the other elbow to your knees. Yep. And just maybe interlace your hands or hold those hands together. And I want you to come into this pretty deep squat while putting pressure on the low belly and on the hip creases. Big deep breath. Watch your knees here. Isometrically draw the inner knees toward each other. Why? So we activate the inner thighs. Whoo! That's it. Everybody breathe. Then take your hands to your knees. Hold onto your blanket and come on up. Set the blanket aside. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Create the same space that you did when there was a blanket there. So it's as if somebody could take your whole lower torso and spread it over the imaginary blanket while the inner thighs draw back. Feel that. Press into your feet, bend your knees. Take elbows to knees. Good. Squeeze the inner thighs toward each other isometrically. Stay nice and wide. Notice how strong you feel here, right? Low belly is active. Find your breath. Take your hands to your thighs. Roll your shoulders back. Squeeze your belly. Just lift your chest. Hold here. Length through your low back, everyone. One arm out, other arm out. Chair pose. Keep the imaginary blanket at those thighs, right? Imagine it there. Find your breath and then stand all the way up. And exhale. Good. Roll out those shoulders. Come up to the front of your mat. Have your blocks on the front of your mat, nice and wide. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale all the way down. Breathe. Good. As best you can, if the blocks are in the way, just move them, soften both knees, step back, right leg. Then bring your blocks back where they belong. Lower your right knee to the floor. Hold your pose. Just simple lunge, no big deal, right? Find your breath. Just kind of notice it. Take both hands to your knee. Lift your chest, squeeze your glute. Don't go into a back bend. Tone in through the lower abdominals. Take the right arm up. Now, I want you to come back to that psoas. I want you to come back. I'm going to come forward here. I want you to come back to the line of the psoas. Inner right thigh across the front of your pelvis. It's actually in the back body, kind of in the center body, but I'm just tracing it where you can see it. So from here through here, all the way up to that lowest vertebra, also connecting to your diaphragm. So with the right arm up, I just want you to ever so slightly tilt to the left. Tone the lower belly in. You may feel a tightness or a pull, gentle, in the psoas. And then lean over your left knee as if you were going to tap your fingers. Circle the arm up. Stretch it softly. This is not as much a side bend as it is a psoas stretch. Lean over that left knee, circle. Yep, one more. Lean over, circle. Come on up. Lower that hand to the floor, switch sides, simple, simple. Switch sides. So find your lunge, lift up, tone the belly. Hands to knee. Big deep breath, feel the stretch. Again, this is my unusually tighter side this morning, so I'm gonna go easier on this side for me, give that a chance to really warm up. Take the left arm up, and then ever so slightly, as the low belly tones puts a little pressure on that psoas. I'm gonna stretch the arm over and breathe. Other side is, just comfortably stable. And then lean over as if you're gonna tap fingers to the floor, circle it up. Lean over, circle, and down. You got it. One more, circle, and up. Good, and then both hands to the floor, downward facing dog. Woo, just notice. Good, step forward. So don't step forward. I want you to slide your left knee forward to the floor. So as if you were kind of in a lunge, but your left knee forward. And then kickstand your left foot toward the right and have a seat on your left butt, your left side glute. And then bend your right leg back. Turn to your left and come forward. So that we, again, are stretching through this back leg. Just breathe here for a moment. If coming all the way down is not good for you, maybe you're up on elbows. Big deep breath. That's it. Just feel it. Breathe. Nice length through your torso. And then if you can, come on up. Press into your left arm, left elbow. Take your right hand to your hip. Stretch out your right leg. Bring your knee to your chest. Push it out. Bring it in. Push it out. Last one, bring it in. Push it out, hold, and then just ever so slightly take that leg behind you again. Stretching this part right here. Breathe, breathe, breathe. So it goes without saying, right? We have to trust our bodies. And if we're doing, because we do some weird things in here, if you're doing something and it feels funky, like funky, not good funky, come on out of it. Breathe. Bring your knee to your chest. Drop it down. Push off. Come on to the other side, right? So you're already there. You're going to lay on your right hip. Your back knee, your top left leg bends, drops to the floor. You turn your torso to the right. Maybe you feel that stretch. And you're either on elbows or you're down to the floor. Big deep breath. Find your pose this morning in this funky, in a good way, hopefully, class, as we stretch through these deep, deep belly muscles. And then come on up. We're not staying anywhere for too long. You're on your right elbow. You feel supported. Your left hand comes to your hip. Your left leg straightens out to the floor. You might hang out right here. This might be just enough for you. Or you lift the leg and start to work this whole outer hip, outer glute as we stretch the psoas. Psoas. There should be a song about the psoas. I'll have to look this up. Breathe. And then either stay here, toes pointing forward, or 3 knees to chest. Squeeze it in. Press it out. That's it. Squeeze in. Press it out. One more time. Squeeze that knee to chest. Press it straight out. Slide the leg back on the imaginary table, but squeeze the belly so that it does not go into a back bend. Breathe. And release it. Bend that knee. Oh, push yourself back up and straighten both legs. Shake them, shake them. Good. Take the hands behind you. Your hands, again, for me, can be pointed any way that makes sense for your shoulders, for your wrists, right? It can be any way that feels okay to you. You're just gonna lean back, lift your chest, feet around in front of you, and see if you can lift your hips. And then bring them back down. And lift up, and down. Good, lift up, and down. Lift up, and down. One more, push up, push, push, push. Hold if you can, watch the shoulders here, everyone. Big deep breath, and lower down to the floor. In your yogi way, if you can, you're gonna just cross shins, roll over the knees, come to table. If that does not work, find a way to come to table pose. From table, downward facing dog, feet wide. Hands walk back, all the way back. Soften your knees, hands to knees, and come on up. And again, notice, just shake them out. Come back to the front of your mat. Blocks back to the front of your mat. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Step back, right leg. Hold here and breathe. Notice again, maybe your hands come to your blocks for a moment. If you can, keep your high lunge. If you would rather have your knee down, take the knee down. It's all wonderful here. It's all good. And feel your front leg press into your front leg as if you could lift your back leg off the floor, right? So I'm pushing, pushing, pushing into my left leg. Feel the strength of that in the left side, and then soften it. Push again. It's all front foot. Push as if you could lift off that floor, off that foot, and down. Nice. Carefully switch sides. Simple, simple. Right foot forward, left foot back, knee up or knee down. Focus on your front foot. Push into your front foot. Push. As if you could lift your back foot off the floor. And then just soften it. Good. Push again, push again. Remember, in some classes I talk about going up the elevator. This is kind of that same thing. I want you to lift up as if you were lifting up the whole pelvis, the whole torso from into an elevator, and then drop back down. One more time. Squeeze up and squeeze down. Carefully, watch those blocks, switch sides. Left foot forward, right foot back. Walk your blocks forward on your mat where you can reach them. Good, this time I want you to push, 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 and finally lift your right leg. And then slowly, slowly, slowly lower and soften. You got it. All right, here we go again. First, push into your left foot, then squeeze your lower belly, and then straighten the leg to lift the right leg. And then slowly lower. We got one more. Push. So as soon as you push, you should feel hip leg activation, right? Then squeeze your belly. There's your core strength. Then lift your leg. Good. From here, lower your right leg right next to your left. Step your left leg back. High lunge on this side. Funky high lunge. Funky. I'm showing my age. Funky, neat, groovy. Still my favorites. All right, you're gonna push into your right leg. Feel this whole leg activate. Squeeze your low belly, tone those hips, lift your left foot off the floor. And then slowly lower it down, find that lunge. Good, again, push and lift. Squeeze your belly, lower and down. We got one more, everyone. First push, activate the muscles. Second, low belly levels the hips. 3, lift the leg. Whew. And just lower left leg right by your right. Find your forward fold. Stretch it out. Bend your knees. Walk the hands up. Come on up. Shake, shake, shake. All right, so quad stretch. You might want your strap for a loop, right? You may not. If you know that you are challenged to put your hand to your foot behind you, just grab your loop and do that, right? So you're here at any level, or you're not using your strap. You can also be near a wall, a chair, a desk, something where your hands can come to a wall, and just lean into your left leg, squeeze your left glute, bend your right knee, and let your hand come to your knee. The challenge here, I find, is two things. Either your body wants your knee to go out to the side. Don't do that. Or your knee is forward, or you're just going to your back bend, because that's what you want to do. I want you to stay neutral. Thigh beside thigh, knee pointing down, belly tones in, right? Starting to find that line of stretch from knee through belly, through psoas, all the way up to your chest. Good, breathe. Your other hand's either holding on to something or it's on your hip. Good, if you can, release that wall or release what you're holding on to and take the arm up to the ceiling. Good, keep squeezing or pressing the hips forward to stay in the quad, stay in the psoas. Good, and release, shake it out. Turn around, switch to the other side. Bring your left foot to your left hand. Draw the knee next to the other knee. Squeeze the low belly in, tone, transverse abdominis, right? Shoulder rolls back. The knee points down toward the floor. Notice the difference there. If my knee's not pointing down, again, really no stretch happening, even if I take it back. But as soon as I press the knee down, press the hip bone forward, then tone the belly. Maybe then the arm comes up as we stretch through. Woo, quad on that side. Big deep breath. And release it. Shake it out, everybody. Woo, shake, shake, shake. All right. Turn yourself around again if you're near a wall. Awesome. If you're on a double mat and you want to come off your double mat, do that. Okay, balance work here. Press into your left foot. Bring your right foot back. Squeeze your belly in. Roll your shoulders. Tone the belly. Lift up through your left arm. So once you have all of that going, maybe then the knee starts to come back a little bit. Maybe the torso starts to come forward a little bit and we come into dancer pose. But notice if your knee wants to splay out, notice if your belly has completely given up on the idea, right? Just play and then come on up. And release, shake it out. Turn yourself around. Do the hokey pokey. Plant your right foot. Bring your left foot in. Roll your left shoulder. Tone your belly, right? This, you can hang right here. You can hang with one hand touching something for balance. Because what are we doing? We're learning to strengthen and challenge our bodies. We're not here to look like or do anything else or what anybody else is doing. Good, once you're there, really tone in through your belly. Maybe you come forward. Woo, thank you all. Maybe not. Breathe. And come on out. And shake it out. That's it. Roll it out. Hands to hips. Breathe. Shift into your right foot, lift your left knee all the way to your chest. And then swing it back and hold. So toes are pointing forward. Here's that stretch again. Tone the belly, lift the chest, squeeze both glutes. Find your breath. And release it. Last one, other side. Into your left foot. Bring your right knee to your chest. Straighten it. Bring it behind you. Don't back bend. Right? Lift in the front. Instead, squeeze the glutes. Find your balance. Stretch front thigh, front psoas, front belly. And release it. Ooh, good. You're gonna need your blanket soon, or your towel, so just have it by you. Inhale, reach up. Exhale all the way down. Breathe. Step back to downward facing dog. Plant your hands, everyone. I don't think I can say that enough. Don't let your upper body be soft in down dog. You want it to be an active part so that your shoulder integrity, back integrity stays really good. Shift to your left foot. This is optional. Lift your right. And breathe. So again, tone the belly. Find your pose. Bend your right knee. Lift your right knee. And then maybe look under your right arm. Good. Breathe. And then see, it's so imperceptible, but see if you can move your right knee away from your right hip bone. Breathe. And then straighten it. Bring it back to the sky. Lower it down to the floor. Same thing other side. Take a break if you need to in between. Left leg up. Maybe this is where you stay, right? Lots of work here. Or bend the knee. Maybe that's where you stay. Or open the knee out to the side. And then look under your left armpit. And then press your left knee away from your left hip. Breathe. Straighten. And lower. Bend both knees. Take them to the floor. Good. And child's pose, hero pose, thunderbolt. What feels good? Shake it out. And notice. Breathe, everybody. And then grab your blanket when you're ready. And or your bath towel, and put it in a roll on your mat. And once you've got that, I want you to lay on your towel or your blanket right across the upper thighs toward the hip bones. So that when you're laying on it, you're not tilting your tailbone up to the ceiling. It's more pointing down toward the floor. So I'm on the, kind of top side of the pubic bone. And then come to Sphinx pose. Lengthen your tailbone and tone your low belly in. And feel this variation of Sphinx pose. I like this because it doesn't put a lot of pressure on the lower back. So that I can play with the idea, one, to tone transverse abdominis between those hip bones, right? That wide, deep abdominal muscle. So toning that in, I already feel more length and space. But then toning the glutes and the hips, because if I want to do extension, back bend, the back body has to be contracted, right, as the opposing muscle. So I'm gonna play here. You're not over squeezing, because if you over squeeze, then your thighs collapse
in and externally rotate. None of that's really good for your back bend. So tone in, maybe press into your hands, lowering the shoulders and finding cobra instead of sphinx. Right? Again, a variation. Breathe, no pain, no stress, no compression in the lower back. But what is stretching maybe is your belly. So 1, stay here. 2, you're gonna lower, or 3, you're just gonna slide the hands back a little bit more. Soften the shoulders down. Yep, even if you gotta bend those elbows more. Good, imagine squeezing the beach ball isometrically, elbows face each other. Stretch your belly, and lower down. We're all gonna be so stir crazy by the time this virus is over. There's no telling what we'll do. All right, so press into your blanket or your pillow. If you're not, or a towel, if you're not using either, press those hip points, pubic bone down toward the floor. Straighten both legs and just lift your right leg. Squeeze your glute, toes are pointing, the top of your foot pointing toward the ceiling. You're not turning your leg one way or the other. And notice how far you can go with that leg before you dump into your low back. Just feel that. As that glute engages, right, the front body stretches. Lower that down. Switch sides. Lift the left leg, press down through the right leg. Tone the belly. Be really dedicated to not dumping into your low back. Because otherwise you'll miss the whole point of extension, right? Of stretching the front body, front legs. Woo, and lower down. Good. Scoot yourself down a little bit more. Down meaning blanket pillow closer to the belly button, but not too much. Let me see if I got that right. I might not. You're going to bend 1 and see if you can hold your foot. Or you're going to bend 2. Oh, I do have it the wrong way. I'm down on my belly. Go the other way. No, that's worse. Go higher. Bend ball. And lift up. What you were hoping for is thighs toward the floor. Chest lifted. Breathe. Find the pause. And lower down. I always get that one wrong. Doesn't seem to matter. Bend your knees, windshield wiper the legs. It's all good. Good. Now that I have it, let's see if we can do that one more time. And you can do singles, by the way, right? So if you want to do single, you bend 1, you reach back for 1, you support your upper body with the other, you just play there. Or you bend both and reach back for both. And I'm belly heavy again, but that's okay. Breathe. And lower. Good. And then take out that blanket or whatever it is below the hips. And just pause. Just lay down for a moment and press your pubic bone into the mat and tone the belly in. And then take the hands wide on your mat and lift up. And one last time, I want you to see, maybe you wiggle a little bit side to side. If this hurts your lower back, either take the hands more forward or wider or none of the above. Come back to Sphinx and see if you can find the stretch in your belly. So as I lean toward my right side, the left side is getting a sweet stretch. Don't go too deep. As I lean to my left, right side gets a good stretch. Good. Stay centered. Squeeze the lower belly in.
Lift up through the chest. Yep. And lower down. Good. Have one block where you can reach it and turn onto your side. Just turn on your side for a moment. All this stretch in the front body, you're all going to be an inch taller. I should have had you measure yourself before. Deep breath. And then come all the way onto your back. Shoulders are to the floor. Now we're coming back to where we started. We're coming back to bridge pose. And if you can, no block. But if you would prefer to have a block under your sacrum like we did at the beginning, go ahead and put a block there. It would be more restorative and a little bit less effort at this point in class. So shoulders are to the floor, or upper arms are to the floor, fingertips soft to the ceiling. Like don't make the hands scream out, just soft. Press into your upper back, upper body, and lift your hips. Not super high, not super high. And feel your feet on the floor. And just like we did when we were doing the lunges, I want you to push into your left foot so much that you almost feel like you could lift your right foot off the floor without actually lifting it. And then release that side. Push into your right side. So single side work, really important here as we discover which side maybe is stronger than the other. Soften, go back to your left, just push into your left foot. Push, push, push. So that the right foot gets lighter. Relax. Push into your right foot. Breathe, keep pushing, and lower both hips to the floor. Bring your knees to your chest. Right, so when we have a weakness on one side of the body, the other side of the body takes over, right? Or we have a weakness in one part of the muscle, the other muscles take over. And that's why we get all this crazy amount of imbalance. And sometimes it's just the way we're built, right? It's just how we are in the world. All right, both feet to the floor, arms down. Press into your shoulders, lift your hips. Press into your left foot, lift your right foot off the floor. Any amount. It can even be a big toe, but squeeze your left hip, left glute. Lower that foot. Press into both feet and then reach into your right foot, lift your left foot. Just a few inches, doesn't have to be big. Breathe and lower. Good, press into your left foot, lift your right. Squeeze, lower, press into your right, lift your left, and lower. One more, lift into your left, lift your right, or press into your left, lift your right. Lower, last one, press into your right, lift your left. Lower that foot and lower both hips. Whew. Bring your knees to your chest. Maybe turn your head side to side. We're almost done, everyone. Good, feet to the floor, last bridge. Your fullest expression of your bridge pose. So bridge is a back bend, right? The chest lifts toward the ceiling. What we don't think about sometimes in bridge is that it's not your low back. It is your upper back extension that allows your bridge to kind of blossom, right? To really grow. So before you even lift anything, I just want you to play with lifting your chest away from the floor. Of course, it's going to arch your whole back more, but as if someone were pulling a string from the center of your chest bone right up to the ceiling, and then let that go. And then plant the upper arms, plant the shoulders, plant your feet. Your feet are underneath your knees or your ankles are under your knees. Press the hips up. One, you're here, or two, hands are to the floor. So there you are, right? And then again, feel like somebody's pulling the string at the center of your chest up toward the ceiling. And stay there. Or release the hands, interlace them underneath, maybe walk the shoulders under a little bit, press more into the feet and see if you can come to this big extension of bridge pose. The inner thighs head toward each other isometrically so that the knees do not splay. The thighs are stretching, the psoas is stretching. We got all this going on. Breathe. Release the way you came in, unwalk the shoulders, unleash the hands, soften down one vertebra at a time. Ooh, pause for a moment. Bring your left knee to your chest, hold underneath your left knee, straighten your right leg to the floor. Breathe. Hallelujah. That's it. Just stretch it out, everybody. Maybe you take your right foot and slide it toward the middle or left side of your mat, just a little bit. Okay? Just breathe. And then bring your right leg back to neutral, slide it up to chest, hold on to it, stretch your left leg. Everything else is soft here. Maybe you take the left leg and slide it toward the right corner of your mat. Big deep breath. And then bring that left leg neutral. Again, bring both knees to chest. Hold on to your left. Stretch your right leg, hover. Lift it up toward the ceiling. Breathe. Point and flex your foot just once or twice. Bend the knee, bring it to chest. Hold on to that. Stretch the left leg long, let it hover. Squeeze the belly, lift that leg up. Point, flex just a couple. Bend your knee, both feet to the floor. Walk both feet out to the corners of your mat. Roll the shoulders down. Maybe let those hands rest on low belly again to feel all of that work that you just did. And as you close your eyes and move into your Shavasana, maybe you feel a softness, a softerness in your belly. Is that a word? I don't think so. Right? A softness in your belly as you close your eyes. And then just for a moment again, I want you to start at that upper inner thigh. There's a little teeny bone there called the lesser trochanter. And imagine this long and beautiful muscle starting there, wrapped around that little bone, sliding up the front of your pelvic bone. And it keeps on going. It's really iliopsoas, but that's another discussion. And it slides through the deep belly, and it attaches to every lumbar vertebra, plus T12, plus the diaphragm. So I really want you to visualize and trace this muscle that slides all the way up, what we would consider core. And then think about the fact that it attaches to the diaphragm. And so as you breathe, the connection is made through your breath and how tight or comfortable the psoas is, connecting to the legs, how tight and loose the legs are. And as you drift into Shavasana, I want you to smile at the beauty of
of it all. Just smile at the marvel. You know, that song that we sang as kids, the leg bone connected to the hip bone, whatever, however it went. It's so true. It's deep and purposeful and beautiful, and we can work with that. So closing the eyes, softening the breath, allowing what is to be. Soften even more. And still in Shavasana, if you would, just bend your knees. Take your feet wide and bring the knees together like we started at the beginning of class, keeping the hands down low. And in Shavasana, feel and promote the softness of your belly here. Feel your belly breath. Soften your belly more. Sometimes we have to let our guard down. And this is one way to do that. Often we should let our guard down. But softening the psoas helps with that. Feel that. As you're ready, just bring your awareness back, staying in Shavasana for as long as you would like. Bending the knees the rest of the way, bringing them up toward your chest. Rocking to one side or the other. And then pressing all the way back up to a seated pose.